Good morning from the West Coast, everyone. Welcome to the Segovia Show, Kickback Edition. I'm not in my studio, I'm in my home gym. And I had a somewhat disappointing weigh in this morning because of a very high stress last week that, well, sleep is a luxury for me. That shouldn't be surprised to anybody that's followed me long enough. But, well, I showed up anyway. I did a stream last night that was exclusive to Rumble, and I recommend you guys all go check it out if you've been interested. This one's more on the theology side, and I had my buddy Justin Derby tune in, join me to talk about replacement theology, since it's been a lot more in conversation lately, especially because of a bunch of right wing um, conservatives that been perpetuating this, and they're coming across as if they have their clout that they've gained from their investigative prowess is now supposedly the reason why there's all of a sudden theological scholars on the topic. So that's been a little bit frustrating to see when people take God's word out of context. So if you're interested in that, that's on Rumble. Go check that out. If you're watching on Ganjian World, you will notice I did post up a edited version, because if you watch it, you'll see I say it's a 2 hour stream, but it's not a 2 hour play. And if you do go check something out and you see that it's not a 2 hour stream, that's because I had to redo or repurpose it after the live stream because of certain personal details that I had to share with the audience about something that happened. Now I'll go over some of that overview with my guest today, because I have a buddy of mine that's been on the show before, and I've been on his show too. And for those of you watching on Rumble, which I recommend you go. First off, welcome to everyone. This is going out to all of you over on Rumble. In fact, 2 Rumble channels. It's going out to this morning. And also for those of you on Play TV, I'll be watching if you're joining in. I see the stream is strong over there. Also, locals, we got Twitch on board, D Live, X, Substack. Love to my Substack followers. Thank you very much. And my goodness, I have so many that are on today. I mentioned Ganji. Well, D Live, yes, always a pleasure to have anybody at D Live join me. I think I get more viewers on D Live than I do on Twitch. Speaking of which, these live streaming for games, Rumble just recently in the news took over Kick. So just letting you know, Rumble is where it's at. So if you haven't joined yet, and at some point today, I might go Rumble Premium. You haven't done so just yet. Join Rumble Premium today. You're helping support free speech. While I don't technically have like a promo code that says I sent you there, but I think there was a promo code out there called Studio that you can use when you sign up, and you get some like savings off your membership, depending on whether you're getting the annual or the monthly subscription. But you do that, you get access to a ton of content, including the content that I did exclusively to Rumble, which is technically behind what is called the paywall. But unlike in YouTube, you'll see that there's I have a membership channel over there. You hit membership, including Ganjian World, and you'll get access to premium content that I do. Same thing with locals. You join over on locals. That's my community. But in the case of Rumble, it's like you pay once, you get all of it. So that's one thing I like about Rumble. You don't have to be going around to different channels that you like and then have to pay different subscriptions. There's subscription fatigue out there. I understand that. That's why some people are like, I don't know, Andres, I don't have Rumble Premium. And some of my loyal followers don't have Rumble Premium. And yesterday was a Rumble exclusive stream. So that's why I wanted to give back a little to those folks. That's why I didn't go exclusive all the way through. But at some point I did, which might happen today too. But anyhow, while I do have affiliates, this stream is powered by coffee. I'm going to be sharing a couple of coffees that I do have I'm affiliated with, and one that I'm not. So hold on, let me take a sip of that. Really disappointed about my weigh-in this morning, but not all entirely unexpected. My first affiliate was Ranger Candy, which is this one. This is the watermelon blend. You go to rangercandycoffee.com, you use DeAndre Segovia, you get free shipping on your order. They've been my first affiliate, and they are always on my shelf. So I will be dropping every now and then a couple of other coffees that I have to tell you, hey, go support small business, go support wherever you can, veteran-owned small businesses. Drink coffee, especially if you want to save on tariff stuff. If you subscribe to some of these places, you'll save a lot more money from that. So today, if you're going to participate in the chat, by all means, please stay on topic. I know there's some people on the other platforms that sometimes chime in because they have some grievances, nothing to do with me, but they want me to bring it up for them. So while I do that, I've also provided you the answers, so you don't have to keep bringing it back up every single time I'm going live. So I've moved it up the chain. But anyway, thank you so much for tuning in. I'm going to bring my guest aboard and let him introduce himself. If you guys don't know him, Joe, you can hear me. Here we go. Come on to the fold. What up, buddy? How you doing?
What's happening? Hey, everybody, I'm Joe McGaha. I'm the host of the Un Gato en Tierra de Perros podcast. Even though it has a Spanish name, I do have English episodes on there fairly regularly. So if you don't speak Spanish, still check it out. Probably half and half at this point. And I talk
Yeah.
about it, just about everything, kind of like Andres. I focus on politics, but I also talk about film. I'm a screenwriter. I talk about kind of anything that's interesting, of interest to the public.
Yeah, and I told you I'm gonna test your knowledge on that whole studio stuff.
Yikes.
But not quite yet. Like we talked about off the air, there's nothing about the Oscars that I really care about. I don't know who's nominated. Maybe I heard like Sinners was nominated, and there was some right wing accounts that were saying, like I think the Babylon Bee posted out there saying, "Oh, this is the movie we had to nominate or be called racist." As far as I know, the film itself is solid. That's why some even conservative reviewers were a little shocked that it didn't get the recognition at the Golden Globes. So I think the Oscars is kind of making up for it. But I never seen it, but I heard it's pretty good. I know it's politically charged, but in the context of filmmaking and storytelling, I heard it's pretty good. And I did see a scene with oh my goodness, Delroy, I think is his name.
Delroy Lindo?
Yeah. That I heard he stole the show. So I don't know if he got nominated. You know what? Let me pull that up because I'm really curious because he's due. Um,
Oh,
he's
yeah.
due
He's been
something.
around forever.
Yeah,
He's great. Yeah.
yeah. Sinners Oscar nominations. Let's see what they nominated Sinners for. 16 Oscars, dude. That's a ton. Okay, so they
Wow.
got Best Picture, Best Director for Ryan Coogler. That's not too surprising there. Best Actor, Michael B. Jordan. He's a solid actor. Best Supporting Actress, Wunmi Musaku. I'm not sure I'm familiar with her. Let's see.
Hmm.
Who else is it? Yeah, Best Supporting Actor, Delroy Lindo. Yes, okay. Best Original Screenplay. And that's good. It's very hard to find an original story. You know this. You're in
Yeah.
screenwriting. Best cinematography, best production design, best costume design, best film editing, best makeup and hairstyling. I I heard there's like a vampire element to this story, so that's probably why it's getting some makeup and hairstyling and costume. Um, it,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
heard
I,
some people. What's that? The Quentin Tarantino movie where Selma Hayek steals the show in the '90s.
oh, From Dusk Till Dawn. Is that the one? I think
What
so.
is that? The one with the? Oh yeah. From Dust Till Dawn
Yeah.
because The Quick and the
Yeah.
Dead is
With
the one with Sharon Stone.
Right, yeah, yeah. This one has Cheech Marin and yeah, bunch of folks.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's the one where she's like super hot
She
on
did it with the
stage.
snake,
Yeah,
I think. Never seen it,
yeah.
but I heard. So that's why they have best sound, best visual effects. I'm assuming it's because like some transformation sequences and stuff. Best original score, I haven't heard it, and then there's the best original song. So apparently they're saying that they nominated this thing more than they nominated Lord of the Rings. So I might take issue with that. But overall, I think based on the the type of films that were released last year, and Hollywood kind of sucks at this. I think I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility. I haven't seen it, but based on people that I respect, they were saying like, "Hey, look, you might get offended by some of the politics, but the movie itself is pretty good." Unlike that other one with Leonardo DiCaprio and Sean Penn, the one that Wes Anderson made, that you know what she's talking about.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, that's the
yeah.
thing. Nobody saw that movie. I don't even remember
Mm.
the name.
Is that
So
the one where the daughter is accused of murder? Or is that a separate, or is that a different? No, that's a different one. Sorry, I'm thinking of
no, this
something
is
else.
like a
Yeah.
futuristic, kind of dystopian thing. It's a commentary against Trump and immigration and all that. So it's like that's all I know of it. I know Leo is in it. No one watched the movie. No one cared to watch the movie. It's like one of the most expensive indie bombs. I think it's cost like over $100 million to make, but it was literally made for the awards. Like, here you go. Just give me the awards and stuff. Like, yeah, give me some political commentary. It's like, dude, at least make a commentary. It's the whole thing's stupid and unrealistic, especially when they show that Leonardo DiCaprio is interested in someone that's not younger than 25.
Well, he's an actor. He's got to pretend that he's interested. That's the tough part. Yeah.
That is true. That is true. I'll give you that. If we go to places, hold on. I think someone's messaging me. I don't know if they know that I'm live.
No worries.
So, hey, I didn't tune into your live. I was locked in a UFC fight. Like, don't worry about it. I'm gonna tell them I'm live right now. Live right now again. Yeah, but dude, we haven't spoken. I know you invited me on earlier on your show, but before I even get sidetracked on that, you did a really good conversation regarding the Venezuelan issue. Sorry, the name of your guest escapes me. Who was it that joined you from Ecuador?
Eduardo Arosemena Munoz, and actually he's a wine specialist, but he also was in politics. He worked with the Puerto Rican government at one point, and he's in Puerto Rico. He's from Ecuador originally. He actually had a live stream this morning with Messi, talking about
Messi.
Yeah, all in
Messi.
Spanish, and the Messi, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, and they were drinking latte. I mean, what are they called? The mate, the Argentinian drink.
Fascinating. Wow, look at
that. Yeah.
That's a whole other conversation about Messi.
It was all soccer. He's a big soccer fan, and we talked about Venezuela. Yeah, exactly. we talked about Bad Bunny and how he's going to be in the Super Bowl this year too. Yeah. It was. I don't really know much of Bad Bunny's stuff. Not really my thing, but I don't know. It's gotten mixed responses, but I'm not a huge sports fan either. So mostly, if I watch the Super Bowl, it's for the halftime show. So I don't know.
I'm the opposite. If I watch the Super Bowl for the game, I hate the commercials because they're distracting. Like, everybody's tuning in for the commercials, and like, dude, I'm with the wrong crowd if people are there for the commercials. Not to say that I can't enjoy them. There's been some really good commercials. My favorite one happens to be the Paul Harvey commercial that Dodge did. I think it was Dodge. It's like, so God made a farmer. That one, like, man, that one moved me. But it's for the love of the game, which I don't. I do when I don't. Like, I'm angry at what's his face. I'm able to show it. Shout out to you. I know who you are, Abel. Thanks for tuning in over on Rumble. If you will be chiming in, for those of you that are participating in the comments, I'll be able to highlight YouTube and Rumble comments. So you're welcome to chime in, but it depends on which Rumble channel you're watching from. So you're watching from the Segovia show proper, then I'll be able to highlight your commentary. And of course, those of you on locals, I'll give you a special shout out. But for those of you over on Play TV, thank you so much for joining and tuning in. I know some of you that are on the East Coast, they're probably snowed in and got nothing better to do. So if you're joining me, I appreciate you tuning in. But seriously, for those that I know, I told you already on the social, but I'll tell you now, by all means, please stay safe out there. So, and stay warm. And let's see. And if you tuned in, go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say, I just saw a picture from Trader Joe's. I think it was from last night or today, that they just bought out all the shelves in like a Trader Joe's in New York, just because everybody's stocking up for the storm. I guess the storm's probably in full swing by now, I'm assuming.
I think crazy. So. Yeah. I know that Boston was at least very early this morning was getting their snowfall. So yeah, but it's funny. A shout out to Ryan Hall, y'all. He's the internet weatherman over on YouTube, and I was doing my stream last night. It was a theology, a very serious thing to talk about, and then I'm seeing his post on X. I was laughing because he was using the Waffle House index, because Waffle House never closes, right? So as all these Waffle Houses are saying they're closing, the Waffle House index is showing that 24 Waffle Houses will be closing. This is a serious storm. Because if they're closed for real, this is legit scary story.
Yeah, I wonder if they're going to make it out here. We don't have any Waffle Houses, do we, in California?
I don't know. I don't want to mistake it with Roscoe's Chicken and Waffles, but I don't think we have Waffle House in the West Coast.
Yeah. Yeah, we don't really even have Cracker Barrel either. I don't think.
No. We don't have
Or
that.
Whataburger. There's a lot of stuff that like from Texas on east is popular. It's not popular out here, but we're conquering with In and Out everywhere now. We're In and Out's going everywhere.
Yeah, and unfortunately, they literally left. And I talked about it on my stream earlier last week, where the headquarters officially moved over to Nashville, Tennessee. Like, what the flip, man? That's another one on you, damn Gavin Newsom.
Yeah, yeah. Well, that's the thing. I mean, I was just thinking about this. That basically, I hate all the taxes that I pay here that really don't go back to me in terms of our roads being good or the homeless issue being cleaned up or healthcare or anything. Somebody's getting rich off them, but at least we're not in a snowstorm right now. So there's
Hey,
that.
look, I visited a friend last summer. For some of you, you might be familiar, or might not. I've had her on the show. She's been on the show a couple of times. Her name is Natasha Owens. Natasha Owens just recently came out with her latest song called "The Somali Waltz." If you haven't checked it out, by all means, go check it out. I thought it was pretty funny, and there's excellent use of AI too. Like, wow, for that music video, it was pretty impressive. But when I was visiting her well, I don't want to say where it was city, but in Texas, and then we got to talking, and her husband Dave, shout out to Dave, he was like, "Why haven't you moved to Texas?" They're like, "Well, I know everybody keeps asking me, but every time I ask myself that same question as I'm driving to Texas, I'm reminded why I love California. There's nothing here, dude." So, and then he's like, "Well, that's true. The weather. You can't argue against the weather. You can't argue against how close proximity you are to the beach, the mountains, the desert, attractions, the food. Oh my goodness! I want to talk about the food. Oh, he was just like singing. He's like, that's why you live in California. The state is worth fighting for." But thank you, Gavin Newsom, that for the 6th year in a row, California continues to hemorrhage residents from the state. And it's somehow they have record turnouts for the elections. That doesn't make any sense now, does it? But that's neither here nor there yet. But let's hope that Chad Bianco and what's his name, Steve Hilton, do end up topping the polls, and we'll get to the primaries, and they'll be forced to pick between Republicans. And let's see if that makes a difference for the state.
Yeah, fingers crossed. I mean, also, I'm sure you saw Newsom was at Davos, and that I'm sure was paid for with our tax money too. That's where our
Yeah.
money's going.
I'm like, why are you there?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Someone over on Twitch is commenting. Thank you for commenting. It's saying, "I'm in New York. They're fighting in Walmart over bottled water and toilet paper last night." It almost sounds like it's COVID all over again. Yeah, but then that's Walmart though. Isn't that like a Saturday? I'm just kidding.
or the Waffle House for that matter. I've seen a lot of Waffle House.
Yeah, that's true. The Waffle House. No, but I kid. I mean, I said my kid, but that's also true. But yes, thank you. A shout out to it's not, it says GZDR for EV. Thank you for chiming in over on Twitch. I appreciate it. But yeah, it's all this stuff. And by the way, for those of you that are tuning in, especially on YouTube, you're not used to this kind of setting. This is literally a just chatting episode. I'm just winging it. For those of you that have follow me on the socials, particularly Instagram, you might know a little bit about it. Joe doesn't know about this because I haven't told him, but some in the comments might be aware of this. I'll only touch on this a little bit. There was a scare on Friday afternoon that basically all my family, like my esposa and my children, were literally in harm's way. And that's not something that I expected on a very intense week already. On Friday afternoon, well, Friday was always shaping up to be a high stress situation for me, which is why I'm so pissed that my weigh-in this morning, after losing 10 pounds for the year, I gained 1.5 pounds back. But I knew that was going to happen because of my poor eating schedule. I wasn't even eating much, but the thing is, my eating was kind of killed off because I lost my appetite. I had a bad eating day yesterday too, where I just didn't want to eat anything. But then there was your cortisol levels increase with when you're in high stress and you're not sleeping and all that. So that's going to add to fat, and that's what sucks because I knew that was going to do me in after consecutively losing weight and then having to weigh in and 1.5 pounds heavier. So like that pissed me off. But what happened on Friday, and I'm not going to go into too much details, is primarily the reason for those of you watching on Rumble. You might see I put a replay of my replacement theology because I did go into more detail about what happened, and I'll send you the story privately, Joe, so you'll be able to see. Okay, they made the news. So there were armed suspects that were escaping after having robbed a place, a jewelry store, and they left in two getaway vehicles that they also stole. So one of them, but they both crashed around the same time too, which is a very odd thing. Not too far from one another because they took different routes. Um, but one of them crashed right in front of my kid's school, and my wife was just arriving to pick up my kids. Um, and when that happened, because it was so loud, everybody heard it. But from the school office, they were able to see the guy staggering out of the car, masked, armed gunmen. They're like, "Oh snap! Lock the school because the school right now has a lot of traffic coming in and out because the kids are leaving. It's after school." So they immediately took action, locked down the school, and then these guys couldn't get in. So one of them, as far as I know, because there were four suspects in that vehicle. One of them was the driver. I think he was shaken up by the car accident because he was the first one detained. But another one was went to hide behind the offices of the school, and the other two were the parking lot where all the vehicles are parked, where the kids are being picked up and all that. That's what they were hiding. One of them was like under a vehicle. The other one was in a dumpster. So first you got the first responders, like the firefighters, the ambulances, and all of that showing up because of the car accident. But then because they're well aware that these guys are armed, not only you got local PD, you got the SWAT team showing up, K9s, drones, and I got to tell you, I live next to a freeway. I've heard the car chases. I'm from Compton, so I'm very familiar with the stuff that goes on over there with police stuff. And I'm talking about Compton when it was Compton, not Compton as in modernized LA, more expensive than LA now. Compton. I'm straight out of Compton, yo. So there was a with the whatchamacallit, um, with all this helicopter activity, even I haven't seen that many helicopters focused in one area. I'm like, well, news channels maybe, but no, this was like helicopters flying to and from hospitals and all the airlifting people. And because there were two accidents very nearby. And the standoff was about 2 hours. So I'm checking with my wife. I'm trying to find information on what the hell's going on. I'm over on X, and shout out to those of you on X. I messaged just out of abundance of caution. As soon as I found out that this was happening, I tagged OC Scanner on X, and that's the post that I did leave up. It's like, hey, look, there's an incident at this interchange. Um, just at least one armed suspect, development situation, large police presence. So then they were able to get more details, like the car accidents, the helicopter activities, and all that. And people started posting and like, "Hey, look, I got a picture of the guy that's arrested." Another one put up a video of the car crash. And there were some gym bros because there's a gym across, like adjacent to the corner. They were live streaming, so they were posting up from that side all the, like all the first responders out there. So all this is going on while I'm in the midst of an intense legal thing. So like, like, and then people are telling me, like, we can do this later. I'm like, dude, this is actually distracting me because I can't do anything about it. I can't just
Yeah,
go
yeah,
out there and
you're
charge gung
powerless.
ho.
Yeah,
Yeah, you
yeah,
got this. When you got the SWAT team there, what am I going to go do? This isn't some stupid powerhouse fantasy from Hollywood where I'm going to go over there and strong arm these very oh my goodness, what do they call it? Cooperative stunt guys. When you have these little skinny twigs of actors like downing 300 people, a 300-pound person that can throw half their like two times their weight at you. But no, it's like, oh no, this girl boss gonna punch out this super strong dude. Viola Davis being in her 50s or whatever, being an action hero at her age. Yeah, right. Great actress, but
I
well,
went to
that's
school with Viola.
did you
Mm.
now? Oh,
Yeah,
what was she
Cal
like?
Poly Pomona. What's that?
Did you guys have any classes together?
Yeah, we were in theater together. She was really super nice. She was only there for I think one semester, maybe it might have been for a year, but it seemed like it was just a semester because I was only there for I think 2 years. I ended up, full disclosure, dropping out. But uh, but she was super nice. I wished I had kept in touch with her because she was really. Not everybody was super into theater. A lot of people were doing it just because they didn't have anything else going on. But she was into it. She she was great even back then, and just easy to hang out with and work with. So I'm not surprised at her success because she's someone who was always able to access her emotions and put it out there.
Yeah, and there's one particular project that I think she was a perfect fit for that I'll get back to. Um, but yeah, man, that was my crazy Friday afternoon. And then after
Damn,
school, like,
yeah,
just
that's
just come
crazy.
over to me at work, and I just want to hug you all. So yeah, we did, and yeah, so that was a very crazy Friday, and I posted to my inner circle members over on Instagram. They were aware of more or less of what's going on. And for those of you on YouTube that are not used to this side of me, because I do business, tech talk, and interviews with folks. This is not one of those. This is more just bantering with a buddy. That's why I need. This is more therapy for me than anything else. Because my wife wasn't realizing, she didn't grasp the whole severity of it until I explained it very well yesterday. I'm like, do you realize that if they had made it into the school with children armed and the SWAT teams outside, that would have turned into a hostage situation? And she's like, you just made my stomach turn. You have to realize that that's the only thing that was going through my mind.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. It's scary,
yeah,
and it's happening more and more. I've been surprised. Well, I guess not surprised, but there's a lot. There've been a lot of jewelry robberies, especially in Orange County. Partly because it's a wealthy area, and even in Newport Beach, even at I think Fashion Island, there were two pretty serious ones last
yes,
year. So
yes.
there's no
Uh,
place is safe from crime, unfortunately.
Yeah, unfortunately, the one in Fashion Island, one of them was a tourist. They were, I think, from Australia, New Zealand, right in front of the Barnes and Noble. For those of you that are familiar with Fashion Island, uh, and they didn't like, I think they dragged her, and
Yeah, I think she didn't give
um,
up her purse, and they jumped in the car, and she was holding onto the door, and they dragged her, and they drove over her. I think she died, didn't she? Or
yeah,
I'm
she
not
died.
sure.
She died. That
Yeah,
was the
yeah,
second such death at Fashion Island in the past. That doesn't happen. Let's just put it that way. It just doesn't happen, and this happened, and that was shocking. And I'm often there, so I'm like, wow, that happened right here. It's this little odd thing, but it's also a tourist. I'm like, that's what I tell people. It doesn't matter where you are. Don't let your guard down. But keep your head on the swivel, because you just never know. Um,
yeah. Well,
that
a couple of years ago, or maybe it was during COVID. I don't know if you remember when a guy freaked out and drove into a crowd in Santa Monica, and
mm,
he killed a few tourists. They were just walking, checking out the beach, and but they were on the sidewalk, and he just drove right into him, which is something that the terrorists have been doing a lot in Europe.
unfortunately.
That's kind of their thing to do is they'll take a van or a car, and that becomes the weapon, and they just drive it into a crowd. Yeah.
We got to ban assault vehicles, man. Locals, you're depreciating just now. Thank you so much for joining me. If you did there, jump over to Rumble so you can continue watching the stream. And as we made to the bottom of the half hour, this stream is powered by coffee. You have coffee? You drink coffee, Joe?
I love coffee, man. As you know, I was born in Spain, so I've been drinking café con leche since I was about 6 years old.
Yeah, you see, grew up almost with the bottle. Well, I
Yeah.
actually have a new coffee affiliate too. They're my latest affiliate, and some of you over in Rumble will recognize them. Blackout Coffee, Blackout, and this is Lotta Crowder's Strange Animal Roast. It's actually a really good roast. I think this will be a crowd pleaser. This is a comfortable roast that I recommend that people have. I can't tell you really the tasting notes on it. I can just tell you that it's a comfortable roast. No acidity that the way I prep it because it's just a drip coffee. And it's a very earthy taste that I do like. So, good taste that you have there, Stephen. And you can go over to Blackout Coffee, use promo code DeAndre Segovia, and you get 20% off your order when you go over there. So, yeah, I recommend people check it out. And I have one more coffee that I will go through on the stream that I have no affiliation with, other than the fact that um, it's my parents' birth country that I'll be sharing pretty soon. And for
Oh, I
those of
think I
you,
know which one that is.
yeah, I think you do. That's the one
Yeah,
I'm drinking too. So,
nice.
uh, you know what? In fact, let me do this. Let me see how many people I got tuning in. Yeah, I see locals depreciate it. The shout out to those of you over on. I said it already, but I'll say it again. That'd be Rumble, D Live, Play TV, Ganjin World, Substack, X, Twitch. Of course, YouTube. This is a mostly a Rumble hosted stream, but I need to check on something here because uh, if you chime in on the chat over on Rumble for the main channel, the Under Segovia Show, YouTube, and as I've seen on Twitch, even Ganji World and Play TV, I'll be able to give you a shout out on this. So you're welcome to chime in, especially if you're on topic. So I see a lot of love over on Play TV. Thank you so much. I appreciate you guys. I know you're posted to Play TV your episodes every now and then, Joe.
Yeah, it's funny. I like Play TV a lot. It seems like I get higher numbers on that than on YouTube or Rumble. And I've been posting onto Nostr now through Primal as well. But yeah, I do it after the fact. I don't do it live.
Oh, when you say Nostr, you're not posting you're just posting a link to the episode, or are you uploading the episode?
I'm uploading the episode, but it's interesting. I have a Primal account, a paid account, but it's not it's what they call an OG account. But then there's another one that is like unlimited. And I see when I look at my data that I've actually gone beyond the amount of megabytes that I'm supposed to have on there. So I don't know, but they don't seem to penalize me and they never stop me. So I'll upload. What I do is I'll take it, because these files, these video files are huge. They can be like more than a gigabyte. But
I know mine are.
I process it through YouTube and then I download it back and it compresses it. So then I get like a 200 megabyte video, and then I'll upload that to Nostr, and you can see it on there. Nostr I think has live streaming as well. I just need to look into that a little bit more.
Really? I gotta definitely check that out. I thought it would be a link. I don't remember. Honestly, I haven't even tried to post or stream to there. You know who I did try, but they keep ignoring me. It's like, dude, if you don't want me, just say so. That was Getter, because that's where I did make a splash. But then all these bot accounts are the ones getting all the traction. They're the ones getting verified. I applied so many times. I even pinned it. I pinned the receipt to my profile there, and I keep tagging support. Don't respond to everyone else. Small accounts, large accounts alike, but they will not respond to me. It's like, dude, what is the holdup for the verification? I would love to be able to stream to the audience here. I thought you guys wanted content, and it just never happened. So screw them.
Yeah, well, I love that you diversify though. You have a good wide coverage of everything. Yeah, which is important. I think that you have to be on X. I even post I post on stuff on the right and on the left. So I'll post stuff on Blue Sky, believe it or not.
I'm on Blue
so
Sky.
I'll have stuff. Yeah. You got to hit everybody, and that's the thing. I mean, I invite people on the left to be on my show, but they usually decline. But every so often they won't, and often the Spanish speakers won't because they also are more on X and other things too. There's not as much of a divide. There's a big divide in this country right now, and it's a shame because it's crazy. We're all Americans, or even if we're not Americans. I mean, I talk to people in Latin America and in Europe, but there's no reason for us to hate each other as much as we seem to.
Unfortunately, for those that have been paying attention, this has been spiraling to a degree that right now, those that are stuck in the moment, of course, they're going to say it's Trump. And I'm like, where the heck were you guys 25, 26 years ago when all this hate was being thrown at Republicans? Just that back then they called him George W. Bush. And when you think of conservatives, you don't really think George W. Bush because the guy's opposed to Trump. But spring 2003 is when I started college. I graduated from high school in 2002. I refused to go to college, much to the disappointment of my parents, because it was their dream for one of their children to, get the degrees that they couldn't, because they couldn't even finish high school in their war-torn country of El Salvador. So I ended up telling them, no, I'm not going. First off, I didn't want to be in high school. You want me to voluntarily go back and pay? It's like, well, because they charge, right? But the thing is, I worked for a year, and then I decided, you know what? I will work for a year. I'll raise my own money, and I'll go. My parents did their part. They paid for private schooling from my 7th to 12th grade year. And it's like, let me do something something on my own because if you guys pay, I won't feel as responsible for my grades as much. It'll I'll feel the pinch if I'm paying for it. I won't end up like Joe and drop out if I'm getting financial aid. Just teasing, dude. Just teasing. But that's why I ended up doing that. And conveniently, the timing was spring 2003. My first class is English class. We didn't talk any English subject. The teacher was a liberal political activist. She was one of those that was literally blocking traffic, chaining herself up, and doing all that. So instead of talking about English, she would have us sit us around in a circle, and we'd be talking about why we shouldn't go to war against Iraq. And I'm like, what does this have to do with English? And shout out to you. Welcome, Bonnie. You tuned in last night, and you're tuning in again this morning. I hope the snow wasn't too bad over there on the East Coast for you. Someone from New York was chiming in via Twitch. If you're still watching on Twitch, thank you. Because they were fighting in Walmart over bottled water and toilet paper last night. But I said that just sounds like a Saturday. But no, in all seriousness, though, I know that things can be a little crazy out there for folks. But I appreciate you joining the stream. And Joe and I, my guest Joe McGaha of Un Gato en Tierra de Perros, I've been on his show. He was the first one to interview me in Espanol. So I have a Rumble exclusive Spanish channel for those that are interested. I've been dropping segments of that, including my own episodes. So I have a larger segment going up this week where he and I talk about real estate and economics. And that's as close that you'll ever see me explaining anything in Spanish without having to stop and saying so thank you, Joe. My mom was very impressed. My dad's like, wow, you only messed up twice in a 1.5 hour interview. So like, hey,
you did great. I mean, I've had guys on, I mean, you know how it is with Hispanics. A lot of them say, yeah, I speak Spanish. And then you get them on and they're like, ¿cómo se dice?
¿Cómo se dice esto?
Yeah. ¿Cómo se dice financing? I'm like, joder, que ni sabes lo más mínimo. But excuse my language. I mean, not my Spanish language, but my I tend to cuss more in Spanish as well because it's just, in Spain, everybody says joder, but
yes.
I don't think that shouldn't get you any checks on YouTube. Yeah.
No. But there is at some point. Oh, how long have we been going on? Okay, I think close to the 45 to 50-minute mark. We'll have to say au revoir to YouTube, but we're not there yet, and possibly get to Rumble Premium depending on how the topic goes along. But in this whole class thing, to give a perspective, I don't want to say I grew up sheltered. I grew up protected because, hell, I'm from West Los Angeles and raised in Compton before going out to Orange County. The Rodney King riots, I was in the midst of all that. I remember how crazy it all was. A lot of near-death experiences that I had growing up as a child too. Stuff that you don't really think about until you start being conscious of this. But that's a whole other topic too, because I didn't have my teenagers. I didn't want to live, so that was another thing. But anyway, so here I am after a private Christian school, and now I'm in an environment that I'm not used to, which is considerably more public. And this ideology, it looked like everybody was in agreement. And to me, since I was bullied in high school and I was kind of left out of circles, and that part of it was my fault too. I don't want to be part of the crowd. So I was used to being the only one with my opinion. I didn't expect anybody to agree with me, except when it came to Batman. That's a non-negotiator for me. But still, in all these discourses that were happening, I'm like, wow, all these people must agree with what's being said by the teacher. And then she had a hippie sitting next to her that was a student, and they were talking. There was like Bush is a Nazi, and America's like Nazi Germany back in the 30s. I'm like, what the hell? So when you hear this crap being thrown about Trump 20 plus years later, there's nothing I haven't heard in my short life. I've heard this before. They use this tactic over and over again. It's just that thanks to social media and the way that things have boiled over, these people have been encouraged because they've been so pummeled in their belief that their rights are being taken away or that this is happening. And now what's going on, they've been snapping. And I said this in a different stream. We're not back in 2003, and I ended up doing a discourse in that class. I ended up doing a paper about how we're headed for civil war, because the discourse that's leading to that. I already knew, anybody that study history, because my favorite subject. My favorite point in history to study is the American Civil War. The second one is World War II, and then the Revolutionary War of the United States for independence. So, being so on topic with the Civil War, I'm like, I've seen this discourse in history before. I'm seeing it play out here. It was exacerbated through social media with keyboard wars and all that. Now look where we are. People that say that, oh, that's all, it's all talk. People talking about Civil War or whatever. It's like, dude, we've been locked in the Civil War. Deaths have happened. We lost Charlie. They shot our candidate for president after failing to do a banana republic, throw him in prison to stop him from running, to kick him off the ballot. This is not stuff that happens in the United States, but we're seeing communist revolutionary takeovers occurring throughout this place. When you're seeing the absolute insanity of what's going on right now in Minneapolis, it's strange that none of them are Somalis that are protesting. It's American, particularly white liberals, that are doing this. And if anybody, whether you like him or hate him, honestly, I don't care. His work ethic speaks for itself. What James O'Keefe posted last night was scary as hell. And this is from somebody that's had to deal with the cartels in Mexico. And this is America? And then these fools are going about saying all this crap. Look, if you really wanted to believe, if you believe that that's what you are in, you wouldn't be able to do anything that you're doing. It's stupid. And this is why we're going to be saying bye to YouTube here in a moment.
Well, yeah, I mean, I know that, you growing up in the barrio, and you've known when you see trouble, you don't walk towards it, you walk away from it. And I've been in riots before, so I know now to stay away from any of that, because when I was young, I kind of got sucked into it, not on purpose, but you're walking by and you're curious and you think nothing's going to happen to you. Next thing you know, you're right in the middle of it. That happened to me in Israel back in 1985, and I got beat up by the Israeli police in a riot. But I could see how it was orchestrated too. A lot of this stuff, there are people that gin up the tension, that try to make it more dramatic than it has to be. But also there are people that are telling people to go out there and put their bodies on the line, and they're basically putting them in danger, because, if you get in between a cop and the person they're trying to arrest, you're going to get hurt. It's just, I never understand when people don't comply with police officers, even when they get pulled over. I always say, yes, sir, no, sir. And even if they're wrong, you take that up in court later, but you do whatever they say, because they have a gun, they have a taser, they have the power at that moment. And if you don't know that, you're going to find that out really quickly and the hard way. It sucks, but that's the way it is. And not just here, everywhere in the world. And it's worse in other countries. You try and stand up against a cop in a third world country, and you could wind up dead very easily, or thrown in some jail cell for 10 years, 20 years, disappeared. You got to just kind of, it sucks, but to a certain extent, you have to keep your head down and, say what you want, complain all you want, videotape if you want, but don't get in the middle of it, because you only have one life. And, I mean, even if you're just injured, that could be an injury for life. I have a buddy who was shot 6 times in the torso, and he survived, but he'll never be the same. So
Crazy. And Bonnie over on YouTube was hearing your story. She says, I'm sorry that happened to him, just referring to you getting beat up in that riot. And Bonnie, I see that you jumped over from Rumble to YouTube. Sure. But the last comment you left on Rumble was, do they sell organic? I guess I'm not going to entirely say goodbye just yet. Bonnie, I'll do this for you. I'll stay on YouTube a little longer. There's a couple of items. There was one. This is Ranger Candy Coffee. This is from rangercandycoffee.com. I think Bonnie, I've sent you a gift card before, because I'm very appreciative of one of my super fans. So they do sell organic. For those that are curious, because I brought up Blackout Coffee. This is my latest coffee affiliate. They do sell organic, if I'm not mistaken. You just gotta look for it. I think that would be a single origin roast. I don't think that applies to the blends or the other roasts that they have there, but it's worth looking into. And what I love about these two companies is that they're not stepping over one another. Yes, they're coffee, but everybody has different preferences. There's other flavored variety here, but also, and this is a big one because my kids love it. The hot cocoa is phenomenal from Blackout Coffee. My wife, who's a chef and very particular with ingredients. She saw the ingredients and that thing's like, I am so impressed. She wanted to use that for baking too. So just letting you know, Blackout Coffee's got it on either place. Use the Andres Segovia at checkout. In the case of Ranger Candy, you'll be getting free shipping. In the case of Blackout Coffee, you'll be getting 20% off your order. So I appreciate you all there. And for those of you that are still watching across everything else, believe me, I appreciate you all for tuning in and joining me on this Sunday morning. I had a great stream last night on theology. We talked about replacement theology because of how much more has been in discourse. And when I had some church visits with the after church, I spoke with some of the brothers and sisters. I think some of them I have been conflicted about certain feelings. So they started picking my brain as soon as they find out I have a podcast, bro. They started like, hey, you talked about this on your podcast or this on your podcast. I'm like, actually, I have. And there's other ones that, well, can I ask you about this? Can I ask you about that? So a lot of it that came up was with regards to what's going on with TPUSA and Charlie, Candace, and all that other stuff. And eventually, what led to replacement theology, which means that the today's Christian church has replaced the people of Israel as God's chosen people, and the modern day Israel is not the country that is biblical. In fact, they are more among the synagogues of Satan and things like that. So, to all that, I say, pick up Charlie's last book, Stop in the Name of God. This had a great impact on my life, and I can tell you, if you are curious what Charlie would have to say, read the book, and then you'll stop listening to Candace Owens altogether. So that's all I got to say about that. The chat is Bonnie's adding. She says, I've had Ranger Coffee. Thank you for letting me know. I will check them out. The hot cocoa too, especially in this kind of weather, Bonnie, when you're stuck in a snowstorm. And yes, I leave it to you. If I don't know if you jumped off Rumble to YouTube for some reasons, because I do understand that I know that for people that do not have a Rumble account, sometimes the stream will get interrupted by ads. I get it, and it's also an understanding of what it means to support free speech. And I think, I'll explain this to folks that don't understand this component of trying to market yourself. People ask me, Andres, what do I need to start a podcast? And I'll tell them that you got to have the drive, the intentionality, and the investment, but don't expect to make money off it, because that's not what it is. And you do need thick skin, because people are going to come after you for XYZ reasons. That's why tomorrow I have a meeting with someone in cybersecurity, because it's long overdue that I got to take the step. So when Rumble, they have their ads, they were very aggressive with their ads. Like every 9 minutes, they would have like an introduction to the stream for those that were new. And I guess that was a way to convince people to get Rumble Premium and stuff. But I don't blame them, but I think they softened that up. And this is why I encourage people, like, if you can't, I don't think my stream is monetized yet per se, so you won't be seeing those interruptions, but in the replay you might. So if you haven't seen that, that's probably why. But I encourage people to jump over to Rumble, simply because YouTube is going the way of the dinosaur. They don't like live streaming. And if you see just how bad they treat me with stuff that shouldn't be offensive, then you'll find out just how the goalposts keep moving. And YouTube's supposed to be my partner, my number one partner. That's my, of all the other places that I'm in, I have 4 times as many followers on YouTube, way more engagement, but people have to beat the algorithm to find me. And if you have, thank you so much. I appreciate you all. But oftentimes when people can't see my videos on their feed, it's like, hey, I didn't even know you posted. And I have the bell on. It's like, and I know because I follow my own channel. So like, what are you guys doing here? So that's why I encourage people to go check some stuff out. And Rumble is the one that's been targeted the most by all these hate mobs. And the fact that I respect Laura Crowder enough that he left pretty much YouTube to just be exclusively on Rumble. I'm like, great, because I was there before he was. he jumped over, and because his audience came over, I ended up getting a lot of supporters over from Loudon Crowder, and like, great, rising tide lifts all boats, and they lifted mine too. And now this is my second go around with the Rumble Partnership Program. So they do care about small content creators to get things out there, and for the live streaming, live Rumble is where it's at to just be kick. So there's a lot to look forward to, definitely. So I'll let you know, Bonnie, because there might be a topic here that YouTube's going to shut me down for, because they always do that. So I'll see about that. But yes, thank you for joining me on the stream last night. It was a great live stream, and yes, I did it for all of you. And let me see the chats there. Play TV, I see you. Thank you so very much, Ganji World, and those of you on Twitch, I appreciate it. So before I went on that tangent, that thing I wanted to mention. One thing that we still had back when I was at college was thank you, Bonnie. I see you jumping back in Rumble. One of the things that we did have at the end of the semester, and I was done with the English class. I was surprised to get. I think I got an A minus. I'm like, because I didn't know about this whole doxing thing yet. So when I heard about it from other people, I was like, oh man, because I spoke up, I failed my class. So eventually I ran into the instructor on campus during the lunch hour, and I'm like, oh, Dr. So-and-so, because I don't want to mention her name, but I'm like, Dr. So-and-so, thank you for the grade. I wasn't sure if I really deserved this to get an A minus in the class. It's like, you did everything that you were assigned to do, and you went beyond in some cases. Like, okay, you should have gotten a B plus, but you did an extra credit thing, so I gave you an A minus. And what she told me was, it's like, don't stop talking to the other side. It's like you have very strong opinions about some things, but you didn't shy away from the conversation. So keep that up, dude. Mind blowing. Look where we are, 20 plus years later. That was Discord with somebody that was an activist blocking traffic, not like what happened yesterday that people are arguing about and what's going on. And I'm not exactly, that's not like something I wanted to touch on, but yeah. And yes, Bonnie, from the catching up on the live chat from YouTube, some of the challenges you mentioned, yes. And this, yeah, you headed over to Rumble. I'll spend more time there. Yeah, this is mostly because I'm part of the partnership program with Rumble with this go around for this month. I'm not sure I'm going to continue for the next month, but I have enjoyed doing these lives. I love live interactions, and I love having people that are also seasoned in the space and doing the same. Yeah, I think I went on quite a thing there. I didn't even get back to the Viola Davis thing too. Good morning, Coco. Welcome to the Rumble stream. So, yeah, but dude, I'm gonna take a sip of coffee and water. You want to comment or color comment on anything I said? By all means, go ahead.
Yeah, well, I mean, basically, yeah, I agree. When I was in college, it was actually when you were probably a little kid, because I was in college during the LA riots, and I remember I was in the choir at Cal Poly Pomona, and we went on tour right when the riot started. So we were driving up. We went to Santa Barbara and then to San Francisco. But I remember we were driving up the 5 in a big bus, and all the tanks were heading down towards LA.
Yes.
And it was like, we're on fire. And then we went to San Francisco, and we wanted to go out and party, of course. A bunch of young people in college, you want to go out, and they were like, well, just be careful, it's getting crazy out there. And we're like, we just came from LA. It's crazy in LA. I don't think it's going to get like that here. But they shut down. I think there was a Cinco de Mayo celebration that was supposed to take place in San Francisco that they shut down, but they still did it. I mean, they just, because they're not going to, the Chicanos there aren't going to stop partying. So, but it was a crazy time, man. It was wild. And then after that, it seemed like there was going to be a lot more, less division to a certain extent, because a lot of people were like, wanting to get the races to get along and stuff. Even like Rodney King said, can't we all just get along? And, I found myself talking to people just because people would talk to me and say, what do you think about what's going on? And, I knew a Korean girl who was very upset about what was happening in LA because of what happened to them. You know, a lot of them took the brunt of so much. And I ended up working for an answering service later that answered the phones for different psychologists and psychiatrists. And one of the clients was Reginald Denny, who I don't know if you remember, but he was beat down. He was a truck driver who was dragged out of his truck
Yeah.
in the middle of the riots, and everybody thought he was going to be dead. I mean, they were smashing
Yeah.
bricks over his head.
It's
Yeah.
crazy.
So all these years later, where are we? You know, it seems like we should be in a much better place. You know, but there are forces, I think, that keep trying to keep us divided. And yeah, there were problems with police abuse. There are problems with crime too. If you push too much one way, then the other thing becomes a big problem. And right now, I mean, because like in Spain, they talk about crime. They talk about how things were better under Franco. There wasn't crime because the people you were afraid of was the cops. So now there's crime, but there's too much crime, and there's violent crime, which they didn't used to have in Spain. When I lived in Spain, you could walk on the street at 11 o'clock in Madrid, no problems whatsoever. But now they have Latin gangs, they have gangs from North Africa and stuff. So it's a different world we're living in. It's kind of futuristic, kind of like Blade Runner. You know, I'm waiting for the rains to come.
Right. And I will be saying goodbye here at the top of the hour to YouTube. So before I do that, I need to give a shout out. By the way, because you're Spaniard, I want to ask you about El Laberinto del Fauno. You should know more
Okay.
about that. I'm a big
Yeah,
Guillermo
yeah,
del
yeah,
Toro
yeah.
guy.
Yeah,
But
well, that's about the Civil War, but Guillermo del Toro is Mexicano. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I know.
Oh, heritage.
This is the heritage blend from Bean of Fire. This I don't have an affiliate with Bean of Fire, um, but Salvadoreño. You know, my parents are from El Salvador. They had to escape the wars over there. So this is what I'm
Did you
having.
buy it with Bitcoin?
No, I didn't buy it with Bitcoin. I haven't
I
invested.
bought mine with Bitcoin.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, for those that are interested, by all means, go to beanandfire.com. Try. It's so hard to get a single origin roast from El Salvador. I found out there might be some cartel stuff reasons for why that is. So, but at least we get that through Bean and Fire. Yes, they're on the price you're selling, but they brought down the prices despite the tariffs. Maybe because of the tariffs, because the relationship that Nayib Bukele has with the United States. But it's along those lines that's a great segue that I'm going to touch on here, and I can't talk about it on YouTube because YouTube is YouTube. It has everything to do with the fact that if Nayib Bukele does it, he's celebrated by our people. If Trump does it, it's Nazi Germany. I think that's stupid. So for those of you on YouTube, I say au revoir, and you jump over to Rumble. You can join me there. So bye-bye, YouTube.